last forever.
Take a step back in time to an era when songs with simple melodies were all the rage and crooners were king. It may sound like 1943 or 53, but it's not. It's 2003, and while the songs may be old, the singer certainly isn't. You see, the man behind the mic is a 28-year-old Canadian named Michael Buble.
For my whole life I've been living this music, and I've been in love with it and passionate about it, and I studied it every day for as long as I can remember.
Audiences are in love with it too. Here at the world-renowned Montreal Jazz Festival, Buble is the hottest ticket in town.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway. Like a lazy ocean hugs the shore, hold us loose, swim more.
I think we all have a natural sort of pulse inside us, and I think that the feeling of that swing, that you either feel it or you don't, and I feel it in a great big way.
Never know how much I love you, never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever.
In just months, his debut album has gone gold in Canada and from Singapore to South Africa. But it wasn't long ago Buble was performing in lounges and telethons. In fact, his big break came while working as a wedding singer. But it wasn't just any wedding. Former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney's daughter Caroline was the bride, and among those on the star-studded guest list, none other than legendary producer David Foster.
Brian Mulroney literally took me by the arm and stood me right in front of the stage and said, "Stand here, you're not going to believe what you're about to see." And, you know, it was loud and it was a wedding. You know, he was a wedding singer.
The Canadian producer has worked with some of the biggest names in the business, from Whitney Houston to Barbra Streisand to Celine Dion. But that night, it was the wedding singer that had Foster's attention.
As I was watching, I was thinking, this kid's great looking. He lives this music. He didn't learn this music. He's lived this music.
Fancy gloves though.
Foster knew Buble was gifted, but how do you turn a wedding singer into a star?
He just kept saying, "I think you're talented, I think you're a nice kid, I think you're a good entertainer, but I don't know what to do with you. I don't know how to sell this stuff."
Put your hand on my shoulder.
If anyone knows how to sell this stuff, it's Foster's close friend, Paul Anka. He first recorded "Put Your Head on My Shoulder" in 1959, and he's been a star ever since. He too was immediately struck with Buble. Can you zero in on just what it is that attracted people like you and David Foster to Michael Buble?
He's got a certain kind of tone. You know, those of us in the industry, we call it tone, and he's got that certain thing, and he marries well to his personality, to his look. You know, it's all a packaging item. It's the totality of everything, and all of that chemistry comes together.
We've been talking to a number of people about you. You're surrounded by legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. That's a strange thing, always. Always a strange. But now, you know, at first it's strange, and then you become friends, and then you forget that they're who they are, and they're just you know, just your friends. You know, it becomes your Uncle Paul.
But they still needed one more industry heavyweight, yet another Canadian.
There's Dom Cock and Red Rider, Backman Turner Overdrive.
We're getting close. Bruce Allen has managed some of the biggest acts in the business. People like Bryan Adams, Anne Murray, and Martina McBride. Buble had been trying to get Allen to manage his career for years. Allen hadn't been interested.
The only thing I'd seen him in was theater productions and this kind of lounge thing where you're trying to, make everybody dance and have a good time and tell jokes. Well, that's a career, I guess, if you want to work cruise ships and stuff like that, but it's not what I want to do.
But David Foster told Alan he'd come up with a way to transform Buble from lounge act to legend. His recipe for success had one key ingredient: romance.
David believed, he said, I believe there's a place in the record business for romance. There's no romance in music anymore, but there's a place for that if you get the right record, and Foster made the right record.
Suddenly, Buble had a music industry dream team few artists can match, but they still had a marketing challenge. CD sales now compete with free internet downloads, and few radio stations play this kind of music.
Every group I've ever worked with, it's always about the radio. And Martina McBride, it's critical in the country business about the radio. Radio is the number one thing.
So it's basically a whole new way to market an artist.
Yeah, radio is not our number one priority.
Radio is all messed up. Buying CDs is all messed up. So what do you have left? Television is the big secret weapon, and this is where somebody like Michael Buble is really winning.
Every time this guy's mug gets on television, no matter what country it is, sales go through the roof. It's a phenomenon to watch it, because that doesn't happen on rock acts.
Buble's first major TV score came on The Today Show just 3 days after his album was released.
See, this is a big moment here. Katie Couric, how many times do you remember Katie Couric dance with anybody? 14 or 15,000 records sold because of this show.
That very day, Buble saw firsthand the result of his Today Show appearance when he went into a music store.
I walked up to the guy at the counter, and I handed him the record, and he looked at me, and he said, "Is this you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's me." And he said, "It's you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's me." And he said, "It is you." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, is it selling like this?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Who the hell are you?" Which is funny. He had no clue. It was like the record dropped out of the sky.
So nobody has to persuade you about the power of television?
Absolutely not, no. It's huge, especially for the kind of music that I'm making.
His velvety voice has been compared to old Blue
More
Eyes.
high-profile TV appearances followed.
Michael Buble.
Entertainment Tonight,
He's only 25 years old.
Live with Regis and Kelly,
Sunshine and flowers.
Canada AM,
Let's fly away.
That's Michael Buble.
even Larry
If you don't
King.
know him, you're going to be hearing a lot about him because
Each appearance giving a big boost to CD sales.
Simply titled Michael Buble.
You can hide, and I just have one.
But while TV is crucial, it's not the only thing that's driving sales. Buble has also been performing non-stop, promoting the album.
He's traveling all over the world. People want to see him. People want to touch him. People want to hear him. They want to feel him.
And this night, as most nights, he pays tribute to the biggest musical influence in his life.
I would not even be on this stage nor any other if it weren't for my grandfather.
Let's go back a few years.
Going back a few years, all right.
Mitch Santaga and his wife Yolanda have always been a big influence in their grandson's life. As a young boy in Burnaby, BC, they remember him as a performer from the start.
And he always sang around the house. At Christmas, he would sing Christmas carols before even Christmas, but he was always, always singing.
By the time Michael was a teen, he and his grandfather would often spend their time together going through Mitch's old record collection.
You know what I like from Tony Bennett? Is I wanna be around. Boom, boom, jack. Pick up the pieces. That's a good one.
And usually, Mitch would ask his grandson with the great voice to learn the lyrics to his favorite songs.
He'd ask me to learn them so that we could sit at that table and we could sing for each other.
Now, so this is a song I like. Well, this one. Listen to this one. It's got feelings. You try this song, man. And he said, "Oh, you're too sentimental, Grandpa. You're going to put everybody to sleep."
He would say, "Oh, please, come on, learn it before Grandpa dies, sunshine." And so I would learn the damn song, and I learned a lot of songs like that.
You never seem to want my romancing. The only time you hold me is when we're dancing. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do.
Thank you. I just think it's a huge privilege.
Now, Buble is sharing that style of music with fans his own age.
It's especially important to me that I see so many young people in the crowd, and together you guys, we're keeping this alive.
He's going to be a huge star, and if he plays his cards right, he'll have a wonderful 50-year career.
Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love?
When will you know you've made it?
I think I did make it. I think I made it the first time I got paid to sing.
The Wedding Singer?
You know what? I got paid to do what I love, and I know that there's a lot of people that would have just died to be in that position.
Los Angeles, California, the entertainment capital of the world. Famous faces are everywhere, and whether it's television, movies, or music, if you want to be a star, this is the place. Billboards show the latest talents hoping to make their mark, and this week that's Canadian crooner Michael Buble.
You're in the hot seat.
Despite performing late last night, Buble is up early and about to get back on stage for another crucial TV appearance, this time on KTLA, the top morning show in Los Angeles.
Do I look pretty yet?
4, 3, 2...
He's an overnight success, more than a decade in the making, and a wonderful, wonderful voice and a terrific presence. Listen now, here is Michael Buble.
I can only give you country walks in springtime, and a hand to hold when leaves begin to fall.
After the morning show, Buble is back in front of the cameras.
This is Michael Buble coming to you from sunny, smoggy LA.
This time for a taped message to the sales staff at his British record label, encouraging them to promote the CD.
I appreciate your hard work in advance, and I promise you I'm not going to let you down.
Next stop, Malibu.
You'll be out of here in 2 hours, man.
For some exclusive studio time with David Foster.
I am.
They're recording a Christmas album to be released this fall. Among the 5 songs is one original track written by Foster specifically for Buble.
This is exactly the right direction. You know, you're hitting the big notes big, but not too big, you know?
Okay.
So it's exactly perfect.
Thanks, man.
Here we go.
I'm not a child, but my heart still can dream.
Yes.
So here's my lifelong wish, my grown-up Christmas list. Not for myself, but for a world in need. No more lives torn apart.
Studio time with David Foster is reserved for the industry elite. His daily rate is as much as $50,000 US. For that, Foster says he can improve a performer's sound by 10%. But today, there's no talk of money, only music and melody.
That right would always win, and love would never end. This is my grown-up Christmas.
That's just beautiful, man. We don't have to do this chorus anymore except for 2 little lines.
Most of the afternoon is spent in studio, leaving Buble little time to prepare for tonight's show. The venue, the legendary Roxy Theater. Buble isn't due on stage for nearly 2 hours, but already his fans are lined up down the block.
My friend was playing it at her house one day, and then we decided we're going to marry him. And he's going to sing to us at our wedding.
I first saw him on the Today Show. It was a long time ago. I was leaving for work, and I caught him really quick, and yeah, who's that? And ever since then, I really liked him.
We need a new Sinatra. This could be the guy.
And among those in the audience on this night, Somebody who would know if Buble has what it takes to be the next Frank Sinatra, the last of the great crooners from that generation, Tony Bennett.
This show is supposed to be, how to say, the latest thing. And what I like is that the young people are finally picking up on the Great American Songbook. You know, that's thrilling for me because that's America's tradition.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Buble!
It's nearly 14 hours since Buble arrived for that morning TV appearance, and only now is he getting to do what he does best. A long day, to be sure, but there's plenty more like it ahead.
That record in the Philippines is going to go platinum pretty quickly, actually. If that's...
Back in Vancouver, Buble's manager, Bruce Allen, and his business partner, Randy Burswick, are making plans for the next leg of the tour.
They like the venue. They think it's the best venue in Manila.
Like the record company says you got to come back in two and do a second hit, but like Randy and I were telling him, it's not like going to Seattle.
After Los Angeles, Buble will cover 4 continents in 6 weeks, performing in Europe, Asia, Australia, and then back in North America.
It's a rough schedule because we're trying to break him internationally and in America at the same time. So he's flying back and forth like an astronaut.
It's a lot of work every day, and I miss my family, and I miss my friends, and it's hard to have a romantic life because of the fact that you're never ever in one place for more than a week. And so no, I don't want to. I mean, I'd love to do this for a long time, but not. I mean, at this pace, I think it would just be impossible.
For once, unafraid
It may seem impossible, but the industry veterans behind him believe Buble will have to work even harder to really make it.
I think he has to be conditioned a little more to, prop up and get out there and get on it. But he's young, it's new to him, and I think he can be taught to really have some strong work ethic.
Is he dedicated enough? In my opinion, probably not. The only real conflict we've had is that I sometimes wanted to push him harder to do the work. To not go out at night, stay home, do the work.
I've seen your tour schedule. You're doing a lot right now. But there are people around you who think you don't work as hard as you need to work at the music.
Try that again.
There are people who are surrounding you who think you need to work harder at your music.
It's hard to balance everything out when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day and you work straight until 11 and have no social life, and so I don't know what else I can do. I'm trying my best. I don't know. That kind of disappoints me a little bit.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming and supporting me.
Thank you very much. But disappointment fades fast when you're young, single, and surrounded by admiring fans.
How good is my life? Isn't it great?
Still, with no current true love in his life, it's domestic bliss that Buble hopes for in the coming decade. Try to picture the ancient age of 37. Who is Michael Buble then?
37 years old. I hope that I'm successful in my life. And by that I mean that I hope I'm a good dad. I hope I'm a good husband. I look at my dad and my grandpa, and they were never famous, and they never sold any records. And they're the most successful men that I know. And if I can be half the men that they are, then I'm doing okay.
That's all.
But for now, marriage and fatherhood are distant goals. Success beckons, and the audience is waiting.
It's all.
And W5 returns right after this.